Psychological ownership, trying to own what exists only in other minds. Let us look at this slowly. Psychological ownership, trying to own what exists only in other minds. You believe you want things, but look carefully. Most of what you want is not a thing, it is a perception inside another human being, and that perception lives in their mind, not yours. Yet the mind spends its entire life trying to possess it. That is psychological ownership. You say you want a beautiful partner. Look deeper. The mind whispers, when people see her with me, they will think I'm desirable. So, what are you trying to own? Not the woman. You are trying to own the admiration inside other people's minds. But admiration is not an object, it is just a passing thought in someone else's head, and yet you chase it like it is gold. You say you want a luxury car. If you lived alone on an island, would the brand matter? Of course not. The car becomes valuable only when others see it. Because now it creates an idea in their mind. He must be successful. So, what are you trying to own? Not the car. You are trying to own the respect inside their perception. But their perception is not yours to possess. You say you want to be good looking. Again, what do you actually want? You want the reaction, the glance, the attraction, the approval. But these things are mental events happening inside other people. You cannot own them, you cannot control them, you cannot store them. And yet the mind says, if I arrange life correctly, people will see me the way I want. This is the illusion. The tragedy is subtle. A man spends his entire life trying to control what lives inside other people's minds. Reputation, status, admiration, respect. But these things are not possessions. They are temporary thoughts passing through strangers. Trying to own them is like trying to own the wind. When this is seen clearly, something quiet happens. Not renunciation, not rejection, but freedom from dependence. You may still drive a nice car, you may still love a beautiful woman, you may still build wealth, but the psychological hunger disappears. Because you see the truth. You were trying to own a hallucination that lived in other people's heads, and no one has ever owned that. Not kings, not billionaires, not saints, not you, not anyone. You say, I want a beautiful girl, I want a high status car, I want to be seen as successful, I want to be seen as attractive. You think these are desires. They are not desires, they are attempts to own perception. This is what psychological ownership is, the hidden mechanism. When you say you want a beautiful partner, the mind is secretly saying, when other people see her beside me, they will think something about me. Not love, not companionship, reputation through association. You are trying to own the meaning that exists in other people's minds, but you cannot. And yet the mind spends its entire life trying. The car. You do not want the car. If no human being existed on earth, would you care whether you drove a luxury car? Of course not. You want what the car says about you, status, power, hierarchy. You want to own the story others tell about you. But the story lives in their mind, not yours. So you chase something you can never possess, the body. You say you want to look good. Again, look closely. Is it the body you want, or is it the reaction you want? The second glance, the admiration, the silent approval. You want to own the feeling you produce in other people, but you cannot own another people's perception, the brutal truth. Psychological ownership means you try to possess things that are not objects. You try to own reputation, status, respect, admiration, desire in others. But these things do not exist as possessions. They exist only as temporary thoughts inside other minds. Trying to own them is like trying to grab smoke. Why this creates suffering? Because the mind becomes a slave to the audience. Every action becomes a performance. The girl becomes a trophy. The car becomes a signal. The body becomes a display. Life becomes a stage. And the audience is always judging. So the mind rests. What happens when you see this? Not intellectually, but truly see it. Something strange happens. The hunger for image weakens. You may still drive a good car, date an attractive woman, build wealth, get stronger in the gym. But the psychological dependency disappears. The difference is enormous. Before, you needed these things to complete your identity. After, they are just things happening in life. The deeper illusion. The real psychological ownership is not the girl, not the car, not the body. The deepest illusion is this: there is someone here who must be somebody. The entire game of status, admiration, comparison exists only to protect that imaginary somebody. Once that is seen clearly, much of the noise of life begins to fall away. Not because you renounce it, but because the spell breaks. Let me ask you something important and answer honestly. Right now in your life, what disturbs you more? Not having these things or seeing others have them while you don't? Your answer will reveal the real engine of the mind. The tragedy of the human mind is simple. It spends its entire life trying to own things that cannot be owned. Reputation, status, admiration, respect. All of these live inside other people's minds, and other people's minds were never yours to control. So the chase never ends, not because you are failing, but because the prize does not exist as a possession. The moment this is truly seen, something shifts. You stop living as a performer. You stop arranging life for an audience, and life becomes strangely simple because now you are no longer trying to own the reflection in other people's eyes.